Well, good Friday morning, everybody. Welcome to the WLBB Community Voice Program. Steve Graddick's going to have to switch things on in the studio so people in radio land can't hear us right now, although I think you can hear us on the... So we'll try it again right now. Welcome to the WLBB Community Voice Program. Our show brought to you by Tanner Health System here on News Talk 1330, FM 106.3. Also streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. And this morning, you can join us on our Facebook page, News Talk 1330 WLBB. As if you're watching us on the Facebook page, you can already see who our guest is this morning. Outgoing Commission Chairman for the County of Carroll, Marty Smith. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Colin.
I guess that's how we'll have to introduce you. Outgoing Commission Chairman, going to be in that role for another 2 weeks. You announced yesterday. I guess update us with the announcements you made official yesterday.
Absolutely. We made it at the work session that I had taken an appointed position with the new governor, Brian Kemp's administration, and that we will be starting there March 18th. And
you're not going to tell us what that position is yet because the governor likes to be the one to present that and send out the press release.
Absolutely.
And I'm just taking that based on because, funny enough, we just lost another commission chairman in our region, Alan Poole, who went there last month. So what is it about West Georgia? We got a state Senate majority leader. We're losing two chairmen to the current administration. Is it just think about a conservative governor? Is he reaching out to more conservative counties, or have you guys worked with him in the past?
We have worked with him in the past. Had a lot of connections here from the West Georgia area that has worked with him when he was Secretary of State and when he decided to run. So, just had a lot of support from the West Georgia area. So, yeah.
Well, let's talk about how easy the decision was. I mean, I suppose you've known about it for a while. I'm sure he just didn't, talk to you last month or something and say, hey, I got this job I'd like you to do, something you've had to think about for a while. How easy of a decision is it to make? I mean, 6 years into a job, a job that you seem to enjoy.
A full 6 into 7. So, yeah, and then about 3 years going to meetings prior to that. So 10 years and plus 54 out of my 55 I've been right here in Carroll County. Colin, it's the hardest decision I've ever had to make. God blessed me to get in this. We prayed about it when I got this job, and I did the same thing and prayed a lot about it and asked a lot of people to pray for me. So when we looked at making this decision, but extremely hard, but the opportunity when I got in here 7 years ago was, my goal was to get my kids old enough. I bypassed a lot of opportunities and things I want to do because family is, I've always said my faith, my family, and then my friends. And I bypassed a lot of opportunities, things that I thought I might want to do in life because I wanted to spend time with my family and watch my kids grow up. And they're either all in college. My daughter's a 10th grader, fixing to start driving, so I technically will lose her in May. So it's at a point in my life where I could really, do something. So my family was full supportive. And I'll never have an opportunity like this again to actually personally know the governor and work on his administration staff and do some things with him. So it was just that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that, we looked at. But, yeah, it was about a 3 or 4 week point of decision. They don't give you long to make up your mind.
I frequently, I joke with you about your voice, about your deep voice all the time, and which great radio voice. And yesterday I think you did have some laryngitis going on too, as you might this morning as well.
Absolutely. Still got a little cold. It seems like every time you call me in, I've got a little cold going on.
But giving your speech yesterday, I did feel like you got a little choked up too.
I'll flat tell you, I didn't think I'd be able to get through it. It was very emotional. I tell everybody I don't wear my feelings on my sleeves, but yeah, I wear my emotions there. I get that honestly out of some other family members. I tear jerk with the quickest of anybody, but it was true, sincerity when I was telling them, that I was taking this job, and it was hard. It's the hardest decision I've made yet.
At times in this show this morning, I want to talk about maybe some certain issues that Carroll County is going through. Maybe the budget, how it's left, and how it was when you started. And we'll talk about how it was 6 years ago, or I guess 7 years ago when you got into the race for that. But one of the things you did mention last night, and you said it 500 times as well, just about the county and your employees all being a team, that you don't, I didn't do all this, that we're all a team. And you mentioned that again last night. Tell us about some of those team members. I can think of probably 5 people, and that I work with a lot that I know have helped you out a lot and done a lot of things. And to me, I think a lot of it starts with Susan Mabry.
Absolutely. When I actually got I was asked the first week of January to actually submit a resume to the state for 3 positions they had narrowed down. So I submitted a resume, and I actually got an interview with the governor and a 9-member staff, and it's 21 minutes long. And the first thing I told them is, I'm not going to sit here and use the word I, that anything that I've done. I said, but let me go ahead and clarify. I do take credit for building the team in Carroll County. Outside of that, I don't take credit for anything. It has been a total team concept. My goal was when I came in office to build a team, not a Marty team, but a team that if I got hit by a truck, decided to leave, that somebody could come in here and manage that team, and it'd be their team too, because we all had the same concepts. But I will tell you, it starts with the baseline staff. Susan Mabry's been here 27 plus years, the most efficient, effective manner you could have. But Sissy, that's up front, that manages my calendar, because it's a 7-day-a-week job. A lot of people coming out of the woodwork that thinks, it's an easy job. It's not. It's 7 days a week if you're local here and know everybody. And, Christy's a new assistant. It's been there a couple of years with her. But those three are the most important staff members. That's made. They understood where my faith, my family, and what, other than board meetings, they always put my family events on the calendar, and that's not common in a lot of places. But they're like I say, efficient and effective, and the best 3-member staff that I've ever had anywhere I've worked.
And she's somebody, I guess inherited could be the right word, but I mean, you would have had the option to let her go if you wanted to. But yeah,
absolutely. The clerk's position does work at the pleasure, but that was the first thing. I had 6 board members when I came on board and says, if you do anything with the clerk, we'll fire you. So yeah, she's well protected there and knows so much. Her institutional knowledge and her staff work together, but they know the county inside and out. It's not being left in bad hands, I'll assure you.
Tim Padgett, Emergency Agency Director. He's well respected statewide.
We started off what we call I started hosting every month at a minimum department heads meeting. We already even had shirts printed up of leadership team. Those department heads are leaders. We've moved some around, some are not with us, and we've got new ones in place. But after almost 7 years here, the leadership team is what they bought into what we had said. The employees had not had a raise in either 6, 7, 8 years when I came on board. And I assured them, if we found money, our goal was to keep money in reserves to where we don't have to borrow. And number 2, we was going to get back in employees. We gave a $600 bonus. We gave a $1,000 bonus. We gave a 5% raise, a 4% raise, and we gave longevity checks. So 5 out of the 6 years, we've been able to give back in some of the hardest economic times that Carroll County's had, because those team members got on board, cut spending. The most amazing fact that I've seen me coming out of office right there, our budget's around $50 million, and you take 55% of that for public safety. On the spending side of around $28 million, we are within $100,000 of spending in this year than where we were in 2013 when I came in office. That's how tight we're managing the expenses right there.
You mentioned the reserve fund when you came into office, and I'm thinking these numbers are accurate. I went back to look at them, but they could have been wrong at that point as well. But I think $11 million was in reserves at that point, and maybe the overall budget was about a quarter. It was about 10, but I think the overall budget was that number was probably close to a quarter of the overall budget. Mm-hmm. So at that point, so where do those numbers? Where are they now?
We just had audited numbers right here. We were able to put about $1 million back in reserves last year, and about $1.2 million this actual past year that are audited. We're just a little over $11.5 million in reserves, and from what I'm told, those are the highest numbers that Carroll County has seen in reserves. So we are leaving Carroll County with audited numbers from an audit firm that Carrollton is more healthy than it's ever been with in regards to reserves, and that's a good thing.
The last 2 years, you and I have talked on and off the record about, I guess, the potential for millage rate. And it's always a discussion every time the budget comes along. The last 2 years, not counting this year, but the last 2 years you were working on the budget, I mean, there were discussions like, pretty good chance we're going to have to consider raising the millage rate, but somehow that did not happen. Discuss that, and, I mean, is that a position that the coming chairman is going to have to consider as well?
Right now, leaving it at optimal time, we've actually laid out a plan. We were working with the current sheriff, looking at public safety and trying to fix some areas there. We're showing money for public safety in addition to all employees, but the public safety and the fire, we've got to where we're increasing their pay. I think they're going to be excited about the budget that we've laid out. Technically, it may need to be tweaked just a little. We had a weekend retreat where I laid the budget out. The budget could be tweaked a little bit, but it's really exciting to see that we're going to be able to help the employees again this year of my proposal.
So the majority of it is going to be your budget then?
Absolutely, yeah. I've laid it out, and somebody can come in and tweak it a little bit. I made sure when I thought that this could happen that I was heading out that we would not leave the county without a firm budget in place, helping the employees. And that's the biggest thing I want. I hope the employees know that the biggest thing I did was work for them. I've been on the employment side. I wasn't always a boss, and our employees had been overlooked for 20 years because of finances, but we've not had a millage rate increase in over 10 years. When we thought the T-Splosh was going to pass and it didn't, yeah, I thought it was going to be a millage rate increase, but I can tell you right now, for the next 2 years, because TAVT tax is coming in a little higher because the legislature actually fixed that number a little bit, and our sales tax revenue is up right now. And just those two figures right there, the next 2 years actually look pretty promising right here. I don't think you'll have to touch the millage rate, and that'll put us at year 13, 14 without having to do a millage rate. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going anywhere from Carroll County. I'm going to live here. I'm going to be a proponent. I'll be the first one to watch the budget, see what's going on, and I'll help push a millage rate when it's due time, and I'll support that for somebody because we've got to get out of the mindset, don't raise millage, don't raise millage. We had one of our biggest adversaries come in, was anti-T-Splosh and came in and spent 2 hours with it and went over the budget. And I think when he left there, he had a total new realization because of our floating homestead put in place that we don't realize a huge increase after the reassessment was done and all. So I think you have to lay out the quality of life that you want in Carroll County and determine what you're willing to pay for that. And I don't think having just the lowest millage rate of anybody in the surrounding area is the way to go. I think at some point we need to fix that to help the employees as well.
I do need to take a break here eventually, but one last question before we do take that break. We mentioned the T-Splosh again. Is that your biggest disappointment in the last 6 years or most frustrating moment?
Probably, because right now all we can count on is the money that's given from the state on a year-to-year basis. And I think I don't think on a fiduciary basis it is right for us to just look a year at a time. We've done a splosh puts you out there, you set a budget, you do everything, but when you only look at your infrastructure one year at a time, I just don't think that's prominent, to do. I think we should be better stewards, lay out a 1, 3, and 5 year plan, and that would have allowed us to do it. We've cut the budget. I showed the person that came in and looked at our budget that was so anti-T-Splosh and showed him where we'd cut, and they were simply amazed at what we'd done with the budget. So, yeah, I think that was probably the biggest hit, on us. That would have really set us. We're averaging about 20 miles of roads every year that we pave. We got 1,175 miles. It's going to take 40-something years to ever pave that same road again, and that's just not being good stewards to me. I think you got to have a better plan.
Did that affect your decision to accept this job with the state at all?
No, especially when I saw that the revenues were coming in for the next 2 years and we're up right now. We're healthy. ACCG recommends you have 25% put back in reserves, and then the rest we want to help employees. Next 2 years actually looks good, and I hope the employees realize we set them up for the next 2 years. So I hope whoever's coming in behind me will realize what we've set them up is to help these employees. Don't cut. Keep helping these employees.
All right. It is 8:43. Our guest this morning, Carroll County Commission Chairman Marty Smith. He announced his resignation yesterday. Will be on the job day-to-day operations through the middle part of March. Tuesday will be his last commission meeting that he'll be overseeing. We're taking questions and comments this morning. Actually, it might be easier to post them up on our Facebook page this morning. I'll take a peek at those during the break and ask Marty those, or just share your comments with him when we come back after this break. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System, News Talk 1330, FM 106.3.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama, because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
Welcome back to the WLVB Community Voice Program, our show brought to you by Tanner Health System, News Talk 1330, FM 106.3. I'm your host this morning, Colin Worthington, sitting with Carroll County Commission Chairman Marty Smith, who yesterday announced his plans to resign in approximately 2 weeks. Going to take a job with the new administration of Georgia's new governor, Brian Kemp. Talked a lot of interesting topics in the first segment. If you'd like to go back and catch the show in its entirety, if you missed any of it, it'll be up on our Facebook page, News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook. Also, a podcast will be on our website, newstalk1330.com. If questions or comments this morning, you can post them on the Facebook page. Also, call us at 678-601-8255. 678-601-TALK is the phone number, and Steve Graddick will answer the phone and patch you through. So, again, Marty Smith, our guest this morning. Let's go back 7 years. How did you, I was telling you, we were talking about, I was wondering if you'd heard of anybody who was interested in, was looking into the job, possibly considering running for it in the future. We talked about 7 years ago when you did run. I said, I didn't know Marty Smith at that point. So I was surprised, when you did run, but then got to know you, and obviously, and did see why you did win. Remember in that race, 2012, it was a primary initially. Mm-hmm. You, Bill Chappell, Walt Hollingsworth, and it was a really close race.
240 votes between the three of us. Yeah.
It was like you had maybe 34%, 34 plus, and then Bill had 32, and then Walt had 31, so Walt wasn't too far behind. Yes, that's right, you were in the middle. That's right. Yeah. But then when it came to the runoff for that, you had 60% of the vote. So it was a good chunk, 2/3 of the vote in support. How did you get into your interest in politics? Because this was your first foray into seeking elected office. Right?
At 26, I was asked to run for mayor of Carrollton.
Who was mayor at that point?
That's a good question. It was actually the position was coming up. I don't think anybody really announced they would want to run. Whoever was there was wanting to get out. And actually took my first check and thought that I was fixing to do that. Went home, talked to my wife about it. At the same time, she announced that we were pregnant with our first child. And I knew then those two probably weren't going to mix, but I probably passed up opportunity back then to get involved. But I've always been involved in local government. We've done a lot of work with the city and county. My dad having a construction company here. Done a lot of small projects. Just always been involved within county. Just like I say, from growing up here from standpoint. Started going to meetings. We had a piece of property for sale, so started going to meetings. And, my thing was, it was like the old school board. Scott Carroll, we talked about it not long ago, how the dysfunctionality of the boards used to work and how they didn't get along and all that. And, the county school board's working excellent now. And it's what I was seeing. I saw a lot of distrust and members not getting along from district commissioners because our charter was put in place in 1989, and you got to have a 6-member board, but then you got a full-time chairman, and ours is actually pretty powerful because you've got day-to-day operations, but you got to make all those a collaborative effort of them work together. And that's what I started seeing, that they weren't kind of getting, working together. And I was actually looking at, I talked to Randy Simpkins at the time. He was in construction as well. And
he was District 5 commissioner at that point.
Thought about getting on the board, and then I started going to meetings for 3 years and said, you know what? If I'm going to dive in, I'm going to dive in head first. And that's why I prayed about it and, prayed my way into office, I guess is what you'd say.
Well, some other people may have to make that kind of decision in praying
Absolutely.
Here over the next couple of months.
And we did not want to leave this. The election will not be till like June 18th, so qualifying probably won't be into the May. So it's going to give opportunity for people to think about it. We didn't want a quick election and make the march and do this quick and make it look like it was not transparent and that we had somebody lined up and all that. So this is, it's a fair opportunity for somebody to really think about it over the next several months and determine if they want to qualify.
Well, this question was posed to me a couple days ago. Now, if somebody, say 3 or 4 people on the board decide they want to run for chairman and they have to resign from their positions, and you won't have quorum in any of the meetings, how does that work out?
Well, then I guess we would be limited on what we probably could pass at that point.
Mm-hmm. I guess how much time would they have to resign? Would they just have to resign the day before qualifying?
Exactly.
So,
So we've got a 2-month period where they're fine to make their votes, have a quorum, and we'll have an interim at that point. Vice Chairman George Chambers is in place right now to sign and execute if anything happened, but it requests to put an interim in place at the first meeting, which will be Tuesday night, and I added that to the agenda at the end of my lines last night.
And not to try and start that rumor, I'm not saying 4 people are stepping down to run. It's just a possibility.
Absolutely. So all they've got to do right now is come up with that interim, and then qualifying could happen back later in May.
Well, is there a different skill set to be chairman of Carroll County now than was needed 6 years ago? You think? I mean, are there any new issues compared to 6 years ago?
No. It's finances are still, like I say, they're not overwhelming, but they've improved. Carroll County lost six banks. It was one of the largest foreclosure rates anywhere in the Southeast, not Georgia, but 7
I think there's
states.
a collective head shake in Carroll County right now. People thinking about that.
Exactly. That. And they say that bubble may be around the corner, that things are going too well. So my biggest thing is you're still going to have to get in here and manage finances, which means you have to have your department heads on board, seeing the same vision that, hey, you help us as a team, we're going to give the money back to you. And that's what we've kind of promoted as a team concept.
10 minutes before 9 o'clock, we better going to take that final break, and we'll come back and wrap up our program with Carroll County Commission Chairman Marty Smith, who announced his resignation officially on Thursday. He'll be in office until the middle part of March, and I believe on Tuesday they'll announce the commission will actually they'll vote on somebody who's in the commission already to run day-to-day operations.
Yes, for the interim.
Okay, and they probably would have to quit their real job or whatever to handle that, right? Because it's not it's not something where you're just coming for meetings. It's day-to-day operations. We're talking about the budget.
Office staff should be able to hold it together. The budget's in place, so it wouldn't take full 8, 10, 12 hours a day, but it's going to take somebody to be able to dedicate some time to it. Yes.
We're going to have about 8 minutes left in the program. When we come back, we'll take your questions and comments over the phone, 678-601-8255, 678-601-TALK, T-A-L-K. Or you can post your questions and comments on Facebook, because we are streaming live on the News Talk 1330 Facebook page this morning. Again, we'll come back with about 8 minutes. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System, News Talk 1330, FM 106.3.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama, because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
I want to come back.
All right, welcome back to the WLWB Community Voice program. Our show brought to you by Tanner Health System, News Talk 1330, FM 106.3. Also this morning, streaming live on Facebook. And I said we'll have 8 minutes. I guess I was way off. We'll have about 6 minutes left in our program here. But let me read some of the Facebook posts that we've had since the show started. Jeff Reese, Mayor of Villa Rica, thank you for all you've done, Chairman Smith. Smith McPherson, also in Villa Rica. She says, congratulations, Marty. Tammy Fowler says, good morning. Good morning to you, Tammy. Cynthia Daly, congratulations on this new adventure. Derek Newton, he actually has a question here. What discussions are held to improve the diversity of leadership in employment with the county?
That's something we do. We deal with in our HR department a lot. It's, how do we attract? How do we keep? So those are ongoing discussions. So I'll ask. I know Derek.
We all know Derek.
Absolutely great guy. But what I do is welcome some more input. That's not a professionalism for me to hone in on anything. But if he's got some help that he could see and some direction to help us, man, we'd look for it. Absolutely.
Well, he better get you quick.
Yes. Well, we can always line him up with HR. So.
I'm going to try one more time to get a hint at what your job with the state's going to be. What quality did Brian Kemp say that he saw in you that he appreciated the most that would be beneficial to the state?
I think the biggest thing is when we use the term effective and efficiently, efficiency and being effective. When I interviewed, it was 21 minutes long. And, you want to sell what we've done in Carroll County. And I talked about the platform that I ran on in 2012 is cut wasteful spending, work on economic development, and the third one was unify the county. When I said it was dysfunctional, we had counties, municipalities not working. West Georgia College was on an island. And, we just didn't have partnerships as good as I thought. And I think if I had to leave office as one, I came in as Marty Smith, and I feel like I'm leaving as Marty Smith. I don't think politics has changed my. I've got a lot more relationships and friendships, but I don't think it's changed my lifestyle. I'm still the guy I came in the office at, and I'm leaving. I promised my family that. But I think unifying and managing people, and I've told them I hire my weaknesses, because you don't need a lot of Martys around here. But I think my pro point is being able to bring leadership as team, bringing the concept of collaborative effort, and bringing people to the table to where everybody's voice counts. It's just leadership of team.
We're about 4 minutes left in the program. Did get a phone call, so let's see if we can make this happen, Captain. Hey, good morning. You're on the Community Voice program. Maybe you're on the Community Voice. Well, I tell you what, we've got 4 minutes left in the program. Let's just we're getting another phone call too. Hopefully, we'll see if we can patch those through. But I guess we'll target this 4 minutes. I mean, let us definitely get. Actually, let's try one more time. Steve Graddick, I think you got to press program on that middle button. You got that, and then you press on, and then you pot it up. Let's try it. All right. Good morning. You are on the Community Voice program. Hello. Good morning. All right. It is not going to work, unfortunately, so we're going to pass that off. But I guess 3 minutes left to go. Do you want to get some shout-outs to some people who've been really important to the county over the last
Well, like I say, my administrative staff right in the office, the three girls, obviously have kept me in line. I can't say enough for what they've done. Our HR department, what they've taken on with the new wellness plan, Ann and Lisa and Darlene, that whole staff, what they've done. My full leadership team. I truly want to leave the office. This budget represents showing that I'm trying to help the employees. So my leadership team, the Charles Popes of the world, I'm telling you, that manages this county like it's his own. Just all the staff that they'll never know the 18 leadership team members that mean a lot. But I hadn't stopped long enough to say one is thank you to my family. My mom and dad, the support of my family, my brothers, but my wife, she's taken on a whole new role, and I got into this to allow me to do this. And even though I've been local here, but and my three kids, but my staff has always allowed me to make sure it was a family event. And that's been pretty special.
What about Ben Skipper? You hadn't mentioned his name today. I know there was something pretty big, I guess, with the ARC, right? About 2 years ago that he found out that he discovered.
Absolutely.
Probably saved the county a lot of money.
The biggest thing, what we've done, Son Millshoff, that we're proud for, is probably assembling that team, going all the way to Washington, D.C., and keeping us out of the Atlanta Region Commission. But, yeah, Ben Skipper was probably one of the best hires for Carroll County as well. He knows government, he knows politics, and he's been able to help us as well. But every team member, like I say, you can't name one from our warden, our parks and recreation. Vince Collins, been with the county 18 years, and he's just 30-something years old. The dedication our employees have for their jobs are impeccable in the leadership position. So I'm proud of the team. And it's not my team. It's that the team has accomplished everything. Marty did not accomplish a lot. It was a team effort right here, and I'll go out saying team.
And I didn't mean to put Ben Skipper above anybody else.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
not.
The truth is, I'm fond of Ben. He's a good guy, and
we'll put him down on the ladder where he deserves to be.
That's why we saved it till the end. He already missed it. He's at work right now, so he missed that part. But thanks for coming out,
Colin. I hope this is not the last time. I'm not moving, and maybe you want to know some things going on at the state level.
That's right.
There you go.
Sneak us some secrets,
and we'll give you a full 30 minutes on that too.
Again, thank you very much,
Colin.
Congratulations,
buddy.
Absolutely. And we appreciate you listening this morning to the Community Voice program here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. If you missed any of the program, it will be on our website, newstalk1330.com. Hopefully, maybe not. Maybe it'll be on Facebook at least, I think, and then we can take the audio from Facebook and put it together, I think, and get it on the website. So it'll be up there eventually.
You need some more help.
Newstalk1330.com. But everybody have a great weekend.